State Route 89 is a California state highway that travels in the north-south direction, and is the major thoroughfare for many mountain communities. It starts from U.S.Route 395 near Topaz Lake, winding its way up to the 8,314-foot Monitor Pass, down to the Carson River, and up again over the 7,740-foot Luther Pass. For that point on, the route generally loses elevation on its way past Lake Tahoe, through Tahoe and Plumas National Forests until Lake Almanor. For roughly 9 miles the route is then a part of State Route 36. The route then ascends to the 5,753-foot Morgan summit. After it enters Lassen Volcanic National Park, it continues to gain elevation until it reaches its highest point in an unnamed pass in the middle of Lassen Peak and Bumpus Mountain. The road then descends and heads northwest, finally terminating at Interstate 5 at the foot of Mount Shasta at around 3,600 feet. Route description: State Route 89 is part of the California Freeway and Expressway system and is eligible for the State Scenic Highway system. However, it is only a scenic highway as designated by Caltrans from the El Dorado Placer County line to a point 3.2 miles west of the US 395 junction. For the junction with State Route 147 through the park and including the gap on State Route 44 to its terminus at I-5. State Route 89 is part of the Volcanic Legacy Scenic Byway, a national scenic byway. State Route 89 begins at an intersection with US 395. The highway goes west through a few switchbacks before crossing into Alpine County and the Humboldt-Toiyabe National Forest. The southernmost section of State Route 89 over Monitor Pass is also closed in winter due to snow accumulation. State Route 89 continues by Henan Lake before intersecting with the eastern end of State Route 4 and turning northwest, passing through Markeyville. State Route 89 continues northwest to the town of Woodfords, where it turns west, running concurrently with State Route 88 for a brief distance before turning into El Dorado County. The section of State Route 89 from State Route 88 north to US 50 is co-signed as US 50 alternate for use as a detour for when US 50 closes. The highway continues north to Myers, where it runs concurrently with US 50 into the city of South Lake Tahoe. State Route 89 continues along the western shore of Lake Tahoe, where it passes through Camp Richardson, Emerald Bay, Meeks Bay, Pommons, and Tahoma. After crossing into Placer County, State Route 89 passes through Chambers Lodge, Homewood, Tahoe Pines, Skyland, Timberland, Pineland, and Tahoe Tavern before coming to an intersection with State Route 28, where State Route 89 continues to the west, away from the lake. The road curves to the north through Tahoe National Forest before crossing into Nevada County and the city of Truckee. This portion of the highway has been designated the 10th Mountain Division Memorial Highway, honoring the U.S. Army division that lost 992 soldiers during the Italian campaign in World War II. State Route 89 runs concurrently with I-80 eastbound briefly before exiting to the north and continuing through the city of Truckee and passing near Prosser Creek Reservoir outside of the city limits. State Route 89 continues through Hobart Mills before crossing into Sierra County and continuing northwest to Randolph and Sierraville, where State Route 89 runs concurrently with State Route 49 southbound through the town of Sattler, where they intersect CRA 23 before splitting off to the northwest. State Route 89 continues through Calpine before crossing into Plumas County. State Route 89 continues through Clio and Griegle before running concurrently with State Route 70 through Plumas National Forest, passing through Blairsden, Feather River and Cromberg, Spring Garden, Massac, East Quincy, and the city of Quincy. State Route 70 and State Route 89 continue north through Keddie before State Route 89 splits off to the north and passes through Indian Falls, Crescent Mills, Greenville, and Canyon Dam. The section of State Route 89 from State Route 70 north to Crescent Mills was built over the abandoned railway bed of the Indian Valley Railroad. State Route 89 intersects with the south end of State Route 147 before paralleling the southern shore of Lake Almanor and running concurrently with State Route 36 westbound, crossing into Tehama County and Lassen National Forest. State Route 36 and State Route 89 intersect the northern terminus of State Route 32 and State Route 172 before State Route 36 splits off to the west and State Route 89 enters Lassen Volcanic National Park. The State Route 89 designation does not run through the national park. The continuation of State Route 89 that runs through Lassen Volcanic National Park is closed in winter due to very heavy snowfall and snowpack. When it is open, a park fee is charged. At the other park entrance in the northwest corner in Shasta County, one can continue along State Route 44 to the northeast. State Route 89 continues north from State Route 44 through Hat Creek and Oils Corner before intersecting State Route 299. The highway passes through Four Corners and Caton, before intersecting CRA 19 and crossing into Siskiyou County. State Route 89 briefly passes through the Klamath National Forest and Battle and McLeod before coming to an interchange with I-5. State Route 89 then merges with Mount Shasta Boulevard and terminates just outside the Mount Shasta city limits. One point of interest along California State Route 89 includes the Pony Express remount station in Woodfords, the Lake Tahoe outlet gates in Tahoe City, Plumas Eureka State Park, Lake Almanor and Lassen Volcanic National Park. Many other points of interest, including Brookhoff Mountain, Sulphur Works, Emerald Lake, Lake Helen, Bumpus Hill, Lassen Peak and Summit Lake are also located on this highway. Major intersections, except where prefixed with a letter, post miles were measured on the road as it was in 1964, based on the alignment that existed at the time, and do not necessarily reflect current mileage. R reflects a realignment in the route since then, M indicates a secondary alignment, L refers an overlap due to a correction or change, and T indicates post miles classified as temporary. Segments that remain unconstructed or have been relinquished to local control may be omitted. The numbers reset at county lines. The start and end post miles in each county are given in the county column.